What's up? Welcome back to the Triple Cross podcast. Today we are talking NBA hoops. I'm here. I'm John. I'm here with Casey. We're going to talk Nets. We're going to talk Lakers. We're going to talk NBA surprises. Who are we surprised by this year? We're going to talk MVP race. We're going to talk duos. Lots of NBA action. Let's get this thing started.
Lillard with 47 tonight. Working it down to 2-1. A deep three. Oh! What? Blazers win the series. A walk-off three from Damian Lillard.
Samuel, wide receiver screen. Good play. Big play. And in for the touchdown.
And Turner looks for the deep left field. Ranging back is Profar, and it's a 1-0 start for the Dodgers.
Second batter of the game, and the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead.
All right. Excited for some NBA action. Casey, you ready to talk basketball?
I am, dude. It's been a minute, and I'm excited to talk really any sports right now.
I love how much happens in the NBA every week. You know what I'm saying? Especially early on. Like we kind of get into the middle of the season, it's like nobody's surprised by anything anymore.
Right.
But we cannot look. I honestly, like, while I was thinking about, hey, what do we talk about today? I honestly was like, can we just stop talking about the Nets and Lakers? Like, it's just all anyone is talking about. But I don't think we can. Like, we can't ignore it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like these big market teams are just going to dominate the conversation, kind of no matter what they do. If they were playing great, we'd talk about them. If they played bad, we'd talk about them. If they were middle of the road, we'd probably talk about them.
Well, and it's just so wild, right? Like, stuff's happening every week. So we talked about Kyrie last week. We gave our thoughts on it. Since our last episode, it was like shortly after our last episode, the Nets have released the requirements for his return. Coming back to your question from last week as well, he is suspended without pay. There's no pay here. He was also, like last year when he wouldn't get the COVID vaccine, he was not paid when he was not playing. So the Nets have released the requirements for his return. I'll read them off. I think it's like a checklist. So first of all, he has to apologize and condemn the film that he quote unquote promoted. He doesn't like that they're using that term, but whatever. He apologized and condemned the film that he tweeted a link to. He has to make a $500,000 donation to an anti-hate cause. You like, that's just like a little, just a little wee little 500K donation. Like, could you imagine if you had like, that's ridiculous. He has to complete sensitivity training. He has to complete anti-Semitism training. He has to meet with ADL Jewish leaders, and he has to meet with the team owner Joe Tsai to understand with the specific word they used were to demonstrate an understanding of the situation. The latest here is that Joe Tsai has said that Kyrie still has work to do. And I think he was quoted as saying, like, we got to remember he did release an apology on Instagram. He says he didn't apologize until after he was suspended. And it's like, okay, well, at this point, he can't go back in time, right? Like, what do you want? Like, that's always going to be true.
You're not sorry enough, though.
Yeah, you're not. That's kind of what Joe Tsai is saying. It's like he's not sorry enough. Jaylen Brown chimed in this week. Jaylen Brown is the vice president of the NBA Players Association, and he said something along the lines of, I'm going to paraphrase, he said something along the lines of some of the conditions for return made players a little uncomfortable. You know, some players thought it was a little extreme. It's something that they're going to talk about at Players Association meetings. Casey, thoughts on this? Too extreme from the Nets, like right reaction? Like, I mean, Kyrie, it's kind of one thing after another. So is this like an accumulation, do you think? Yeah. What do you think here?
I'm kind of shocked. Honestly, I'm kind of going backwards through your points here a little bit, but I'm kind of shocked that it's taken this long for the Players Association to get involved. You know, in such a player-driven league, especially. You know, I think of like compared to football, like the players have way more pull on most things, but weirdly, when it comes to like political stuff, which I guess you have to kind of file this under like at least like socially political, right? Like,
right.
Like it just feels like it's all of a sudden players lose a lot of leeway. And I think that they should be kind of like the players themselves should be a little worried about some of these terms because these kinds of scenarios act as like a precedent for future scenarios. And I don't want to just claim like slippery slope argument all the way, but like the threshold for what becomes outrageous and what becomes offensive tends to go down, right? So the next time something even less provocative happens, is there going to be the similar amount of outrage and therefore like the same punishment on something even, more tolerable or less intolerable, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like on the scale of horrible things, at least. So
Yeah.
I think I mean, I kind of gave my take last week. I think it should be more, it's his brand, it's his profile. He can do whatever he wants on his account, but the Nets do have some reasonable, actions that they can take too. But I guess where I sit on it is, if they're at this point, do you look into like a really serious like trade possibility, and is that something you can see?
How do you
like,
move him? How do you move him for whatever he's making $40 million a year at?
Do you really think there'd be no takers if they were just came out on a statement like, hey, we're looking to part ways with this guy
I think
because
they'd
of
take
net?
a big loss in a trade on him.
Loss in what way? Like a net loss from where they are right now? Like, I don't know what the contract status is, but
Yeah,
I mean,
I
put your money
think
where your
they'd be
mouth
getting
is.
some picks and some like they wouldn't be in win now mode anymore. If they
But
trade him, they're going into rebuild.
It's this like dual mentality, like this cognitive dissonance. Like, hey, if you're really trying to state that we aren't with this guy, like he's not sorry enough. We don't agree with his morals, and clearly he's not really sorry. He's only sorry because he got caught because it affected him. Well, then get him out of the building, even if it cost you something, right? Like,
Yeah.
I just don't. It just seems like it's so reactive, and the franchise is acting like, hey, we're gonna catch all the blame if we don't look like we're really mad at this guy. Because I'm not saying that the people aren't worried about what's going on, like that they don't actually have feelings against what he quote unquote promoted. But at the same time, like, you aren't outright, suspending him for the year or doing anything like super over the top. So where are you on this kind of thing? I feel like they're still in that wishy-washy territory, which you can't really respect them no matter what they do as an organization. So
He might be at that level of play still where like someone would take a chance on him, but at this point it's like he's just becoming such a liability. And he I don't So I'll go down narrative street a little bit here. And I'll say that it's not unprecedented in the NBA that players use their platform to voice political opinions, sometimes strong political opinions. LeBron has done this. Other players have done this without suspension. So even if we're considering this, if we're bucketing it in the world of political opinions, I think it's just specifically, it's a little closer to hate speech than maybe some of the other opinions, I guess, at least in the view of the Nets. So I think that me going down narrative street here, and I'm not the only one who thinks this, I honestly just think the Nets are trying to sideline him. I think they're done. I think they're done with Kyrie. And honestly, if I'm the Nets, I would be too. I don't know if I'd be going about it in this way, trying to sideline him. I might be like, all right, let's just like look to get into a rebuild. Let's look to see what kind of assets we can trade Kyrie for. Let's talk to Durant and see if he wants to be part of a rebuild or if he wants to get moved. And let's go back to the drawing board on this. Because I think that's where they're at. And I think they're just trying to sideline Kyrie. I don't know if I'd do it in this way, but I would be doing the same thing if I were the Nets, because he's just a liability. On the court, he's fine, but he's not like a good defender, right? So he plays one side of the court really, really well. And he doesn't really play, like they have to cover for him on defense. But like off the court, he's just this, like, you don't even know he's going to play. He missed a whole bunch of games because he wouldn't get vaccinated, which some people are on board with that, and that's fine. But like, he was like a flat earther, and now he's like not a flat earther anymore. Like, and I'm not saying like, hey, he can't play basketball because he's a flat earther.
Yeah,
it's just like it's one piece of drama after another, to the point where Nets players aren't talking about basketball in their post-game interviews ever. They're just always talking about Kyrie's latest weird thing,
so did they not know who they were getting when they got him?
No, absolutely they did not. He's like gotten much weirder in the last 5 years.
Who's to say what's weird? It's all this subjective stuff, though. It's weird. Who's to say?
Let me put it this. He's become much more of a sideshow in the last 5 years, and the talk has gone from basketball to whatever Kyrie's latest thing is. much more often in the last 5 years. He wasn't, it wasn't that way with the Celtics. It was at least basketball focused. And he wasn't that way with the Cavs for sure. So like where I always say the Lakers got what they traded for, I kind of feel like the Nets like didn't. They were like, what is all this, man? Like, where was this in Boston? So yeah, I get it. If I'm the Nets, I'm doing the same thing. I'm really kind of looking to burn it down and restart and maybe build around KD if he's willing to do that. But if he's not willing to do that, just maybe like moving on and going back to being a sucky team.
Well, I mean, I guess the way you're painting it, if you go down that narrative, it makes it look a little bit better on the Nets. Like it makes it look like this is something they're doing intentionally, at least, and they're not just getting kind of like hit from both ends. Like, hey, you're benching one of your better players, kind of.
Some of these bullet points kind of make it seem like, oh, they're like, these are things he like won't do. Like that's kind of the narrative that others are saying, that like,
because otherwise it makes you look inept, right? Like if this is a guy you really want on the court, this makes you look like a horribly run franchise, because like it's probably not going to do it. It's going to lead to more negative press for you and for him. Like I just think get him out of there. Like
I think they want to move on from him, and I don't think they want him to have a banner year, right? So like because then it just becomes a harder conversation. So yeah, I mean, I think they're just kind of trying to keep him off the court as much as they can.
Well, I can't speak to. Oh, I was going to say, I can't speak to if like, you're a religious guy. I'm not particularly religious, so I don't know how I would feel if somebody spoke about my religion. I mean, are we in the place is Judaism's a religion and somehow a race at the same time? So it's complicated, but I am glad the Players Association is getting involved because we just need boundaries for these things. We need to bring the subjective into the objective a little bit more. Because even like this $500,000 donation to an anti-hate cause, like what does that even mean? Who's to say what anti-hate is? Who's to say what hate speech is? Like, I know that's kind of like a worn out talking point, but it's true. Like, where is the line? I can say this, but not that. And I added one word, maybe, so we just need actual clear borders if we're going to play this game of like, this can affect players' livelihood, I think.
Right. Meanwhile, with Kyrie out, the Nets have looked much better. When the Nets just become the KD show, they seem to look better. KD reminded us that he's a bucket this week. And he's like, I can kind of do this myself. I mean, it's not fully himself, but he's dishing out assists again in their win. So this week they played 4 games. They won 3 games. They dropped 1 to the Mavericks, who are a pretty good team. And it was like a good game with the Mavs. 96-94. Otherwise, they would have went 4-0 this week. Beat the Clips, beat the Knicks, beat the Hornets. I mean, none of those are like crazy challenges. The Knicks, I mean, the Battle of New York there, Knicks are definitely better than them in the Eastern Conference right now. But, none of those are crazy challenges, but have a game with the Mavericks as well. We saw some other people get involved. Seth Curry back on the court this week. Joe Harris back on the court this week. Seth Curry putting up 23 against the Knicks. He put up some points against the Clippers too. What he put up against the Clippers. Seth Curry, 22 against the Clippers. Kids shooting the ball. Edmund Sumner, who's been quiet, is just taking feed after feed from Durant, and he put up like 20 against the Knicks as well. So the Nets looking good. Durant getting buckets and throwing dimes and reminding us that, in all honesty, this dude right now, today, this season, and this has been true for maybe the last 5 seasons, he may be the best person to lace up shoes and play the game at the moment, in terms of just like all around skill set, ability to take a team that's full of role players and just be like, all right, you guys, like, we're just going to win. Hop on my back. We're going to win. Might be the best player in the league. Is he in the running for MVP? No, but like not in that way, but like really just best skill set wise player in the league. So yeah, I mean, if you're the Nets, kind of like, why Kyrie,
Yeah, I mean, Slim Reaper back at it, stealing souls, like just doing what he does out there. Yeah, I mean, you like to see a guy like that he seems like, in my opinion, he should be a guy you kind of build maybe not build your franchise around, because that kind of means a little bit more than
can.
Sure, but like he's kind of moved around a little bit. Like, I don't know what his situation is. Like,
he doesn't want to move. He doesn't want a fresh franchise built around him. Like, he wants to move. I mean. That's like, what the Nets. If you build with proven players, then that's what he wants.
What I mean to say is, I think there's a difference between building a franchise around a player and building a team like for a particular year around a player. You know what I mean? You don't have to like sell the future to like be like, this is our guy, and we're not going to need another guy like him, kind of thing. Like that's a different thing than being like, hey, we've got the piece we want here, and maybe like for instance, like the Kyrie thing, like maybe he's not the piece you want there. So like I said, maybe
can we move
go
him for
get the guy
somebody? Can we
or,
move him
or
for
even like
a Drew Holiday or Chris Middleton? Like maybe someone who's objectively or subjectively not as good as Kyrie, but like is a good sort of like piece to add with Durant.
Maybe a guy that can cost you a little less, so you can maybe even go out and get another move done to fill in some of that talent that Kyrie would be taking if he goes. So I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about it. Like use that roster to your advantage, and what you have right now that's working is KD, which is a lot better than a lot of teams.
That's what's been working for him the whole time. Honestly, it's like it really should have worked with the three of them with Harden, and Harden played well there when he played, but like he misses games. Kyrie misses games. It's just been KD the whole time, honestly, and that's when they're playing their best, and that's I think that's what KD's really frustrated about. So he may move on.
Do you think there's a franchise in the league that could almost wear Kyrie as a badge of honor? You know what I mean? Like almost
just
like hey, we are free speech, like to the max kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, the Pistons maybe. The Pistons are always that bad boys, like tough guy franchise, but it's not really that. Like it's not that, like it's a weird fit. I don't know. I don't think there is, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, call me crazy here, but like Lakers desperation move.
Yeah. Bring him back with LeBron. Kyrie and LeBron back together.
Think he'd be like willing to do that? I mean, at this point, does Kyrie hold any like cards? Does he hold any like any power at all in contract stuff, like built into his contract? I don't know.
I don't know the details of it, but I mean, they wouldn't get. Then what do? Do you put Russ back with KD and Kyrie back with LeBron?
Let's have a reunion, huh? I mean, it's both guys a change of scenery that's much needed, right? Like,
yeah.
I know. I'm calling it now. They're gonna do it.
Speaking of Lakers, thank you for bringing them up. Things are getting worse in
simply put,
in Lakersville. Right. Like, remember last week we were like, you know what? They did lose to the Jazz, but they look better. And like, no, they went 0-3 this week. Dropped another one to the Jazz, dropped one to the Clippers, and dropped one to who? I don't know. But they lost. They did all the losing. I think the Cavs. I don't know. I don't even know who it was, but they just lost. They 0-3. LeBron sat some games. I think he sat against the Jazz, but honestly, they've been doing a lot of losing with both Anthony Davis and LeBron playing, and usually it's like AD is sidelined, and that's why they're underperforming, and it's just LeBron and whatever role players they have. But like, and Russ has been like a little bit better too. Like he's been more efficient. Main problem that he has is he turns the ball over like 5 to 7 times a night, and which as a second unit player is like, it's where you need some efficiency. But yeah, I mean, like they're losing with LeBron and AD playing and Russ playing, right? Like they're like, this is the best iteration of this team. They're calling up some reserve guards. Dennis Schroeder might make a comeback. They dropped their last 5 games straight. LeBron is shooting 24% from the 3-point line right now, 45% from the field. Like,
this is a prime opportunity to talk horrible about, who some people think is the best player of all time, right? I think there's still a debate going on there. But I'm gonna kind of take the high road here, especially because Q isn't here. So like the guy who will always defend the Lakers and LeBron, he's not here to do it. So I don't want to kick a man while he's down, and he doesn't have his one like loyal defender here. But I mean, yeah, you said what needs to be said. They don't look good. I mean, it's pretty early still, but like, what do you even hope for if you're this franchise right now? What do you actually hope for? Do you hope to squeak into the playoffs and like first round exit, or do you hope for something else? I'll just say.
Right. So what the Lakers, there seems to be a little division, and the Lakers are built for win now. It's very clear. And most Lakers
are they?
Yeah, I mean, like they're capped out in salary. They've got veteran players. Like
they got everything but the wins. So
right. So, but they're not built to build, right? other than 2 first-round picks that they're sitting on that most fans and LeBron, I believe, thinks they should trade for. I mean, there's talks of a trade package with like the 2 first-round picks and probably some other assets for like Miles Turner and Buddy Hield with Indiana is one of the looks people keep giving. My opinion there, like, are Miles Turner and Buddy Hield like gonna, like, I don't think that's gonna help you turn the corner. So like, I honestly don't think they have the assets to really make something different happen unless they're willing to let AD go. But I mean, they're going to sell AD low if they do, or if they're willing to let Russ go, which I believe they were already shopping Russ and they couldn't get him moved. So I think they're just, I think all their assets are down right now and they can't move them, you know,
just because you're taking, you know, your assets are down doesn't mean it might not be the right time to sell still, you know, right? Like get what you can for it. Cause they could continue to go down. If they don't turn it around, like, the value on those guys, even LeBron, like, I don't know how you know, how movable LeBron is even. I mean, that might sound crazy, but like, isn't that something you even consider? Like kind of full rebuild
Nobody's
style?
ever traded LeBron.
Is it impossible? Does he have a no trade clause?
I don't know. I don't know if that exists.
Does he really look like a guy who's going to like win them the championship? I mean, like he
doesn't look like it right now. Right. So LeBron,
but he's got value still, right? Somebody would pay up to get him.
Oh yeah, he's got value still. Like, and honestly, like right now, he's the kind of guy that would like fit in with the Jazz, and the Jazz have the assets to trade for him. I'm not advocating for a LeBron trade to the Jazz, but
LeBron to the Jazz, you heard it here first.
But like that's like the kind of person that's the kind of spot he would fit. And he'd like probably make the team much better. The question I have is like, why is it he's had some of his best 3-point shooting years in the last couple of years, and he's sitting at 24% right now. He could be slumping, right? It's early in the season. It could be a slump. I've been like kind of watching, like, why are his shots so off? And I think I think he's slowed down, right? Like he does not look as explosive. He does not look like as hard to guard. And so guys are able to play up on him a little bit more, and it's making his shots more difficult. He's not able to like create the space from the 3-point line as well. He's taking more difficult shots. And I think he feels like he has the team on his back, and he doesn't really have the shooters around him, right? Like he's got Matt Ryan, who plays limited minutes and shoots okay. Austin Reeves, who shoots okay. But other than that, it's like Lonnie Walker the fourth, who's really more of like a slasher athletic player and shoots okay, right? So yeah, I think he just feels like he doesn't have spacing. He's taking hard shots, and so if he went somewhere where they just had better spacing, honestly, he probably would be playing better. If you're the Lake Show, what do you do? I mean, it sounds like you're advocating for like burn it down, trade LeBron, trade AD. I mean,
I really do wish Q was here so I could run it by him in like an earnest way, not like hey, your team sucks, like they should sell every asset, but like in like a real way. Like, hey, if I was a Lakers fan, like what do I actually hope for this year? Like that's weird to me, you know. I don't know if it's as popular in basketball at the tank as it is in football, because I know the lottery makes it a little crazy. But like, if they can recoup, I mean, what could you even get? What could you expect in a normal market for if you sold those 3 guys off, you know, and just went crazy young build for the future kind of style, you know?
This year is the Victor Wembanyama draft lottery.
Yeah.
Consensus overall number 1 pick. Wemby, he looks really good. The Lakers are in the running right now. I mean, you might not need to do anything to get that pick. You know what I'm saying? They're 15th in the West. However, they have traded this pick to the Pelicans already, which means the Pelicans, if they got the pick, would have gotten Zion and Wemby, and they'd be sitting on Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum. They'd have Wemby on a rookie contract. I think they might still, Zion's off his rookie contract. CJ McCollum and Ingram. I mean, like, so what do you like? You can't even tank for the pick because the Pelicans got it.
Pelican power, man, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, like, you almost are like, can I get my 2? Like, you almost want to trade the Pelicans your 2 picks back for the first pick or something. I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
You don't even need to try to tank. You're already tanking.
I'm such a casual. I barely even know how the lottery works, like at all. But like, you just basically want as many picks.
The Lakers are pretty likely to get the pick right now to win. But yeah, they've already traded it, and it's not. Yeah, and so the Pelicans would take that first pick. I mean, go.
Right.
And then the
I mean,
Pelicans would just find a way with Zion, Wemby, and CJ McCollum to get 10th in the
yeah,
West.
but I mean, you could
Like they
like
always
look
do.
at some of these other teams that are projected to finish bad. I mean, maybe trading some of your good players would raise them in the standings. You can make that argument, but like some of these teams would probably be interested in some of your pieces, and you could just acquire picks. I don't know. Maybe that's crazy to
Or
say.
I mean, or you could try and acquire other pieces. It's the Lakers, right? So a lot of people are
seems
willing to
more
come to
likely.
LA, and a lot of people are willing to come to LA in free agency. I mean, if there's any organization that's shown it's going to be good in multiple generations, it's Boston and LA, right? So, I mean, trade LeBron for just other good assets. Like just you could trade your assets and build a good team. So if it were me, that's where I would go. I wouldn't burn it down for picks like the Jazz did. I would just like try and build a good team. And then I'd look to who is in free agency this year, next year, and maybe try and acquire guys that those big free agency targets would want to play alongside, right? So
like
if I know that, you know, KD wants to play alongside SGA or Bradley Beal or something like that, I might look to get SGA, you know, and then look at trying to get KD in free agency, right? Or right, like that's probably the moves I would make as the Lakers, because the Lakers are always in the free agency market. Like they're always a good free agency target. People want to play there. They're always willing to pay the tax. The teams are perpetually contenders. And it's like kind of one of the best places for players to be for their career. It's a big market. They get more deals.
I'd make another prediction, but I like the one I already pulled out of my ass earlier. You know, I think put Kyrie on the Lakers, take Russ, put him on the Nets, and see what happens. I think that would be fun.
I don't think they're going to make that trade. I think KD would be a hard no on that. I don't think he wants to play with Russ again.
But does anybody want to play with Kyrie though? Like, okay, Russ could sit on the bench there just as easily as Kyrie can. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Put him in the second unit. Make sure they're never on the floor.
What is the opportunity cost here? It's pretty much zero, because Kyrie's not going to see the floor again. Doesn't seem like it. Because, like you said, he's not going to do that. That was segment 1. Let's move on.
No, okay. So we are, that's 20. I just said at the top, I don't even want to talk about the Nets and Lakers because this is all anyone's talking about. And we spent 25 minutes on it because
30 minutes later.
30 minutes later. But so let's move on. Let's move on to non-Nets and Lakers stuff. Casey, who are you surprised by this season thus far?
Yeah, man, there's a few big surprises. You know, some of which are like team surprises. Some of them are like kind of individual player performances. But you know, and I don't want to steal, you know, what I think you might say, but I think you're Jazz, man. They're surprising, right? Even you came in to this season with some pretty I don't want to say like you didn't have faith in your team, but like I think you were prepared to maybe not start as hot, at least, you know.
I thought that they were going to do what they kind of like were saying, like everyone was saying that they were trying to do, which was tank.
Right.
But they're doing a bad job of it. But nobody really. It's not like Danny Ainge ever came out and was like, "Yeah, we're tanking this year, guys." So like,
yeah, I mean,
it's all
first
speculation.
team in the West to 10 wins, so pretty good.
They're leading the West. I mean, they're playing an interesting style of basketball. They're doing a thing, and this almost seems like where the league's going. They're doing a thing where they have several scores. Everybody can shoot. Everybody can score at all levels. Everybody can go off the dribble. So they screen, they switch, they dribble handoff until they just get the matchup that they want, and then they attack the matchup. So it's this like kind of weird style of like movement into ISO ball, right? Movement. Oh, we got the matchup we want. Now we're going to attack it. Markkanen looks incredible. Jordan Clarkson looks incredible. I think both of them could be all-stars this year. I don't think they will be because they play in Utah. They play in a small market. They won't get fan votes to help them. But I think both of them will play at the level of all-stars this year, kind of maybe be bubble all-stars, maybe be on the team if somebody gets hurt type of thing. But then like, God, I mean, to tail on the Jazz surprise, Kelly Olynyk is a massive surprise to me. He's basically had like 3 to 5 years of just really crappy play. Like he's not been good at all. He had one good year with the Celtics. And like I've said it on the show before, of all the Gonzaga, I usually love Gonzaga players, and like I don't like him. I think he's awfully overrated, but not with the Jazz. Like he's been cooking, you know. So yeah, I mean, I would call him a surprise as well. My biggest surprise this year, however, is not the Jazz. It is a one Desmond Bane over in Memphis. So here's a crazy stat. Memphis, think about backcourt duos right now, right? Like Cavs, Hawks, there's some good backcourt duos. Memphis may have the best backcourt duo. Yeah. Statistically, like from score, Desmond Bane's putting up like 30 a night or something. I don't know what it is. It's close to that though. Desmond Bane, right? Like I'm saying that name. A bunch of people who are casual basketball fans don't even know who he is. He's a dude who has gotten just better and better every single year. So yeah, massive surprise to me this year. I love it though. I love that it's like when he first like set rookie year, sophomore year, it was almost like you didn't even want him to dribble. It was like, just catch and shoot. Like, don't do, like, he was like kind of like pounding the ball on the floor. He was awkward with it. Like, he's working off the dribble. He's shooting. He's doing everything. He's playing defense. They needed a running mate for Ja Morant, and they didn't even have to go get one. One just like developed, which is
I think that's
incredible.
What makes them such an interesting backcourt duo, is that this one is like homegrown and the running mate emerged, right? Which, like, sometimes that happens, but sometimes it's an acquisition. Feels like more often in the NBA it's an acquisition, right?
No,
like,
these days for
go
sure.
Get the guy, but this is homegrown. It's cool. It's like you can watch the chemistry build in live time, and when those things do work out, I think the hit rate is lower, but the ceiling for that is pretty high, because this is like, I mean, that momentum gets going on a couple of guys like this, and like the team believes in it because you've seen the progress happen, right? The coaching staff probably had a good amount to do with it, so like they feel good about themselves. Like everybody kind of rides this high. It's different than bringing in a big name player, which, you know, the Nets are the only proof you need to see that, like, hey, sometimes when you bring in these big names, it all just kind of blows up in your face, you know, right? And you strip it back down. You pick the one best player out of the three, and then you roll with that maybe. But yeah, now like what's going on in Memphis is the exact opposite situation, and you love to see it kind of no matter where it is. And they're an incredible backcourt duo.
Yes. So I did misspeak. Desmond Bane putting up 24.7 a night, though. I mean, that's impressive. 20.4.7 a night, almost 5 assists tonight, shooting 45.1% from the 3-point line. Like, he's got to be in the top. He's got to be close to leading the league in 3-point percentage. I don't know off the top of my head. 91.2 from the 3-point line. Like, just really, really good. This guy was drafted in 2020 with the 30th pick, the last pick of the first round, I think. 32nd pick is the last pick. Almost the last pick of the first round.
Pretty close.
Like, it's not like they thought this wasn't a Scottie Pippen type pick, or this wasn't like a Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, where that is homegrown as well, but those were both top 15 draft picks. Like, no, this guy he's picked up with almost in the second round, right? Like, and he just developed. Played for TCU, right? Like, he didn't even play for Kentucky or Duke or anything like that. So yeah, like this is awesome. I love the Desmond Bane improvement. I'm here for
all of my takes kind of are, incubated from a whole nother mindset, whole nother like sports of fear of football, right? Where it's hilarious to even hear the thing like, oh, this is a back end of the first round pick. Like I was basically garbage. Like, it's so weird because, you always hear that like Tom Brady was a 6th round pick in the NFL, right? And I think that's kind of that's not even comparatively, that's not as far back in the NBA, right? But it's still like, it's so weird to think that in the NBA world, with such incredible athletes, people kind of go like, hey, we've got it figured out. It's like there's these 20 guys who are good, and even fewer of them are really good, and everybody else is kind of whatever, right? I think we put too much.
Like we every now and then we get a Draymond Green out of the second round or a Nikola Jokic out of the second round or something like that.
I think all of that is born from like the offseason is so long. And what are you looking at for most of the offseason? You're looking at big moves already, sure. But a lot of people are looking at the incoming rookies, and you get obsessed. And those like initial like rankings, or, however you want to like rate your big board, your draft board that you kind of make for yourself, those like impressions are seared into your brain. And if they don't go onto the team that you like and you follow the closest, you might not even follow their career that closely. And your bias is just confirmed to you because you're like, I bet he's doing exactly what I thought he would do on that team. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right, so. Right. I think that's how these things get too out of control. And I mean, when knowing what you know now, when would you have picked Desmond Bane? When would you pull the trigger on him? The top 10 pick?
Yeah, great. Let's look at the 2020 draft class, because that's a good question.
Look at that impromptu like segment creation out of nowhere.
NBA draft class.
We should do a redrafting a certain draft class episode. That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
I know that's fun. That's always a good time.
So trendy, right? People are always doing that.
Redrafting this class.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards, I'd still take him over Desmond Bane. James Wiseman, no, I would not take him over Desmond Bane. LaMelo Ball at this point in time, that's close. A lot of people probably still take LaMelo Ball over Desmond Bane. But yeah, I mean, maybe second or third. After that, we got Patrick Williams, Isaac Okoro. No. Onyeka, I don't know how to say his name. I wouldn't take him over Desmond Bane. Killian Hayes, good role player, but no. Obi Toppin, no. Again, good role player, but no. Avidija, nope. Jalen Smith, nope. Devin Vassell, maybe. He's another guy who's developed really well this year. Yeah. Tyrese Halliburton, I would actually probably take him maybe number one. Him and Anthony Edwards. So right now I have Desmond Bane third, maybe fourth if we put Devin Vassell ahead of him. Other than that, it's Cole Anthony, it's Tyrese Maxey.
Tyrese Maxey's in there.
Yeah. Maxey's probably a top 5 from that class. But yeah, anyone in the second round.
So I mean, Bane is I guess
he's a top 5 pick, top 6 pick. I wouldn't take Maxey over Bane, I don't think. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, Devin Vassell, Desmond Bane, and Tyrese Maxey.
So just to like really confirm my theory here, because I think we can basically confirm it now. You're saying Desmond Bane is probably 6th best from his draft class thus far.
Worst case scenario.
Right. Well, let's assume that worst case. So let's assume that worst case. Yeah. Just assuming that's the worst value they got from that number 20 or number 30 pick, whatever it was. Number 30.
I think worst case 6, best case 3. I do think Hallie and Anthony Edwards are better.
Just to prove my theory, those the other top 5 that you would put above Bane, maybe only one of them was actually drafted in the top 5. Only one of them was even drafted in the top 10.
LaMelo Ball was a maybe, so he was also in the top 5. Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, we had Vassell, Halliburton. I think you said 4 other names. So Maxey,
Vassell, Halliburton were 11 and 12. Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, and then the last one was Tyrese Maxey, who was 21st.
Yeah. So okay, maybe two of the other ones were top 10 picks was all.
Right.
So like maybe it's infrequent, but it's infrequent to hit a superstar anyway, and I don't know that we're ready to put Desmond
It's infrequent that very few rookies pan out in the first 3 years, and then some of them become decent role. Some of those, the rest of that kind of top 30, some of those will fill in as decent role players, but out of every class, there's only a few stars.
Back to my like Lakers take. This is why I'd be like a proponent of maybe trading for picks and rebuilding through picks instead, because I think you just want darts. It's a dart throw no matter where you are, really. Like we have a sense of thinking like, yeah, but if you have like one of the super high picks, you have a better chance. Sure, maybe that's true. But like really, you just need some firepower. You need some darts to throw. And, they seem like an organization that could do that. But anyway, this is about Desmond Bane. Incredible breakout season, even though his growth trajectory was going up.
I love it when it's just development too. Like
exactly,
he just worked on his game. That is amazing.
How can you not be a fan of what's going on there? You'd have to be just like a hater. Like you'd have to be like a fan of a rival team maybe. But like you just love to see it as a fan of any sport, really. Like development actually happening. One player making another player better on his team, coaching staff making a player better. A guy you drafted actually. Okay, they didn't. It was a trade draft.
Draft
one of those.
trade, yeah.
Draft and trades. We don't have those in football. So
yeah. Well, it's just they traded.
Essentially, they drafted him, right? Like
they essentially drafted him. Yes. So moving on from surprises, Jazz, Desmond Bane, both I think top 2 surprises in the NBA. I mean, Spurs a little surprising, but not. I mean, not that. Like they're just a well coached team. They don't have like a true point guard, which is a little weird, but like I just always say, like somebody's going to pick up the touches, right? And Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson are definitely doing that. Cavs a little surprising, but I don't think anybody's that surprised by it. Like with the acquisition of Donovan Mitchell, we expected them to be good. But the Cavs, speaking of Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs and Darius Garland, right now today, Casey, I'll give you 2 shots at this. We'll each take 2 shots at this. Who do you think the best duo in the NBA is right now, 2022, 2023?
Yeah, I mean, just both at once, maybe. Just kind of shotgun it out there.
No, you go. Yeah. However you want to do it. You go first.
Okay. Well, I mean, I got to be like a little bit of a truther here. I mean, there's an obvious one that like I'm gonna throw out there.
You're gonna be a homer and just pick the one from your
Yeah,
favorite
the reigning
team or second
champs.
favorite team.
Best player in the league. And Wiggins, who legitimately he's a similar guy. We've actually seen like true development, right? Like his draft stock was high coming in, but like maybe initially underachieved.
Yep.
I think that's fair to say. And then now, I think based on how you reevaluate, I think he's overachieving or finally hitting.
If you redrafted the class, he probably would go lower than number 1. But
right.
He's doing well. He's fulfilling what you expect from a number 1 draft pick, like
exactly
to be a good player.
Honestly, when you're sharing the court with Steph, like sure, one good player can make another good player better, but like a certain amount of opportunities are just off the board too when you have Steph, even Clay already has that established kind of like exactly. So I think that you can't have this conversation without at least bringing them up, even if they're not the number 1.
So Steph Wiggins, good, decent choice. If we look at just pure scoring, they're one of the few duos, I believe, that is over 50 points a game combined. A lot of that is Steph scoring 33, but hey, I mean, over 50 points combined, that means Wiggins is picking up like 20. So, good choice. Do you want to throw out your second one, or you want me to hit one?
Go ahead.
All right. So mine is Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, a little bit lower on the scoring side, but like as a whole, scoring assists, winning games, like just a really great duo. Super they make the Hawks so hard to guard, right? Because then you mix in Collins, you mix in just like all the other kind of athletic players that the Hawks have. They just make the Hawks super tough to guard, and they're winning games. So credit where credit's due. My biggest knock on the Steph Wiggins take is that they're not winning games. And if it's a duo, if we're talking best duos, they should be affecting games. It's still early. I do have faith that the Warriors will bring it around. But yeah, I mean,
they just took down Don and the Cavs. I mean, that was a pretty clutch win.
Yep, that's a pretty clutch win. They did need some ref assistance in the win over the Kings. But yeah, the refs let them set, and they've been doing this for years. The refs let the Warriors set just the worst moving screens. But that's all right. I mean, everybody knows that playing the Warriors. Anyway, this is about a different team in the West.
It makes sense.
DeJounte Murray and Trae Young. And this was what the thing I love about this one is, again, Trae Young was like year 1 superstar. DeJounte Murray was a developmental player, right? Yeah. He developed his game, got his first All-Star break, or got his first All-Star appearance last year while he's still with the Spurs, but that just came from development, consistent. He was good his first year, but not like that. And then just pairs with Trae Young, and day 1 they roll the balls out and it just works. I love that, right? Like those two are able, with Trae Young being so ball dominant, they're able to just roll the balls out and work together, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't want to speak out of both sides of my mouth, but like second to homegrown talent, the next best storyline you could have is still something kind of humble, where you go out and you get a guy whose career is on a nice trajectory, but it's just the right guy in the right situation, finds a spot to thrive, and he just kind of skyrockets.
Breaks through. And that's kind of what happened with Wiggins. That's kind of what happened with Wiggins as well.
Pretty much,
like,
yeah, exactly.
His career wasn't on the right trajectory, but they just got him in the right situation in Golden State.
Right. Like even when you have these superstar duos like kind of come together, expectation is so high that I think they're rarely in consideration for something like this, because like how do they both just go off? You know what I mean? Like I think we've seen like the super team era, has been around for a while, but like it seems like maybe that's breaking down a little bit in recent years here. I don't know. Is that a hot take? Like seems like some of the super quote unquote super teams that were attempted here this year are like falling apart. I don't know.
That's not uncommon though. I mean, you remember the Lob City Clippers? They were, maybe made it close to the Western Conference Finals once. That Oklahoma City Thunder team with Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and Carmelo Anthony, first round exits. So it's like, sometimes the super team just doesn't gel. Props to Young and Murray. Who else you got?
All right, so another one back to the homegrown talent here, because this was another duo drafted by the same team. This was always the plan, right? Like, trust the process, but it's not who you think it is here. This is the Celtics.
Trust the process
With Tatum and
Yeah.
Brown. Okay, so incredible scorers first and foremost is what comes to mind to me. Like, these guys just can score, and that's what we're talking about here, right? These are the basically we're talking about the best scoring duos in the NBA as we look at who we've selected so far. Which is, I mean, that's what the league is about, is scoring points. So it makes sense.
And I'll actually say that I think this is the best two-way duo. Both Brown and Tatum got votes for Defensive Player of the Year last year.
And that's
Trey and Steph ain't playing defense. So
right. And that makes it feel even better as like a homegrown, this was always a part of the plan kind of thing. Is these guys, this is a real, like how we said, like KD, like you don't necessarily build your franchise around him just because it might be a little bit of a, just he could put a curveball into that much star power. It's tough to kind of put everything on that guy, but you could build your team around him for the year. These guys, this is a duo you build the franchise around. Like you want them around as long as possible, and you just surround them with as much talent that showcases them as much as possible. You don't need other guys coming in and upsetting the power balance. You need other like role players who are very good at playing their role.
Marcus Smart is an incredible addition to them. You know, like,
and I honestly think out of
they might be the best trio. That might be the best trio. Brown, Tatum, Smart.
I think, sure, Smart's one of those guys you love to, like, you know, everybody likes a good Smart out there, but like I don't think I'd quite add him to this group. Like they're kind of next level, like elite players, I think. No offense to Smart.
Yeah, Smart's a defensive specialist that still scores 15 points a game. You know,
but I do think
impressive defensive specialist.
That shows perfectly what I'm saying, is that like Brown and Tatum as a duo might have the highest ceiling overall, given like the team around them supports them.
Yeah. And Brown, Tatum, if you're looking at two-way play, they're the best two-way play duo. Let's see. So Tatum is scoring 31.4 a night. Brown at 25.3 a night. So what do we got? 54.7. They're close to the top scoring duo. Maybe second. Nope. No, they are the top scoring duo, and they're also the best two-way play duo. And they're both guys who are guard forward types that can guard 1 through 4. They work in the Switchers League. And Tatum is different this year. It's like, I mean, look, they went to a championship already, but basically what the Warriors did is say, we're going to take away the 3. What else you got? And he didn't finish through contact. He tried to take Andrew Wiggins ISO a bunch of times and took bad shots, didn't make his mid-range. And he went and worked on his game. He is finishing through contact. He is like dunking the ball. He's getting the shot he wants. And he looks bigger. Like he looks stronger. Like he was, and he's done that every year. Like Tatum is having that like year of like, had the adversity, had people question whether I really can be, like people saying all the things. He's a paper star, like, you know, had that and like all right, let me address all that. Right. So I love what I'm seeing from Tatum. Somebody so good, again, working on their game and getting better. Jaylen Brown, same thing. It's like I don't know if they were doing it together, but they were on the same page. That's for sure.
And I mean, compared to Steph, at least Steph and Wiggins as a combo, these guys are younger. So it feels like what I said, like the sky's the limit a little bit. But I mean, that makes the ultimate point for the Grizzlies, right? Like that's like, those guys are so young.
Yes. So in terms of, that's my other one is Ja Morant and Desmond Bane, age wise. So I heard a stat recently that like amongst NBA champion teams, the star player is almost always 27 or older. And like Giannis is the anti-trend, and he was 26. Like, so like,
cool, a whole year younger.
right. Like in Brown, Tatum, like Brown's like 25, 26. Tatum's 24. Ja Morant and Desmond Bane are even younger. So in terms of like what you want in terms of future, Ja Morant and Desmond Bane are what you want, and they are a close second in terms of combined scoring. Two-way play, not quite there as much. And like fully, like, I think that, you know, rebounding, Tatum's rebounding. How many rebounds is he grabbing a night? He's grabbing 7 rebounds a night. Like, you know, they're not doing that kind of stuff, but yeah. So as of right now today. But like Brown and Tatum are also like that duo is a couple years older than this duo.
Right. Exactly.
So in terms of like what you're building around, like Memphis might even have a more crazy future.
And I think that's exactly why the Memphis duo, that's what makes them a sexy pick for like best duo, and also like kind of a suspect pick for best duo at the same time. Is we've just seen the greatness for a lot less time. There's a lot of
is Desmond Bain really this good?
Right, exactly. Even I mean, not obviously John Morant is good, but like on the A side of these duos, which obviously is John Morant, like we've still even seen that resume for a lot shorter time than these other A side players, like Tatum, like Steph Curry, like who is in the GOAT discussion, hands down, like
yeah.
I'm never gonna stop inserting that whenever
he's
possible.
probably in the MVP discussion, but maybe not
after they win the championship again this year. We're gonna be talking about how Steph Curry is the GOAT,
potentially the GOAT. Okay, let's move on to some picks. Should we move on to some picks? Pick some games.
Let's do it, boy. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So a little bit strange. Let me actually pull up this on the screen.
I haven't looked at this at all either. I have no idea what we have.
You're gonna just like wing it is what you're gonna do. All right.
Yep.
I'll pull this up on the screen. Let me zoom in a little bit.
So we already have a couple from last week that are rolling over here.
Yep, good call. I was just gonna call that out. So we picked all the way through like Sunday last week. I want to say.
Here, actually, I have this. If you wanna share the other screen, I made a tracker.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I especially have an interest in maybe showing where we currently are,
where our current standings are.
Let me make sure you got it.
Oh yeah, no, I actually did already. So, it's right here. Let me zoom back out a little bit.
Little zoomy out. Yeah,
zoom back out for you. All right, nice, so perfect. Here's where we are through week 1. I picked 8 wins. I picked 8 games right, 5 games wrong. Casey picked 11 games right, 2 games wrong. You killed it. Q, a little bit of a disappointing performance, but it's all right. It's only week 1. Give him a shot.
I don't want to talk crap. I just got to celebrate while I can, because this feels like I'm never doing this again. 11-2. Where did that come from? I don't know.
I think you'll be surprised. It's not like the NFL. Like the NFL, you actually have to follow and know the league and like have the eye test a little bit more. The NBA, you get a lot more statistically significant data over time, so it does get a little bit easier to pick the games, I think, unless I like specifically try and only grab the hard ones. In which case, I think, then we're all just as likely to pick them wrong. But moving on, did you put the games in this week? No, you didn't. Okay, so
I did not put the matchups in, so we'll have to deal with this, and we can.
Cool. So carrying over from last week, we picked the Blazers Mavs game already, and we picked the Nets Lakers game that's happening tomorrow already. So we're just going to pick up on Monday, and we're going to bring it through Friday. So we're just going to pick Monday through Friday, and then we'll do that every week. We'll go like Saturday through Friday, right? Yeah. So kicking it off, Hawks Bucks. This is one you and I both picked right last week. I think he was on an island and he was wrong, and the Hawks did beat him. Do you think the Bucks get revenge?
Oh, we got a repeat already this early, huh?
Yeah, and I think maybe they play this matchup happens twice this week even.
Oh my gosh. So this
happened twice last week. I don't know. Yeah.
This is the first of the week then? The first matchup of the week?
Yes. Yeah, no, and I didn't put both of them in here.
Man. I think that I got to. Oh man, this is tough. I mean, do you play with fire and just stay in the flames on the team that upset? I mean, most people call it an upset. I'm gonna stick with the Hawks here.
You're gonna go Hawks, huh?
Yeah. I mean, why not?
All right. Okay. All right. I respect it. I'm just checking something really quick. I'm gonna cheat on you a little bit. Giannis will be questionable.
I like my pick even better.
Yep. That's what it turns on. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Spurs Dubs. So Dubs are, I mean, the Spurs are like what, 6th or something like that. And the Warriors are still struggling.
Well, I mean, they're a whole half a game ahead, so
is that what it is?
Yeah, they're half a game ahead.
Yeah, Spurs are up. Yeah, that's true. Yep. 6 and 7. The Spurs are 6 and 7. The Warriors are 5 and 7.
So why don't you go ahead and pick this one first then? So we rotate.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Warriors.
And I will as well. I was always going to. So
Clippers Mavs.
okay,
Another tight Western Conference matchup.
that one is tight. And let's see, any notable injuries here? Am I forgetting anything? I mean, obviously. Okay, sorry, I almost
That's
forgot
just
he was
potential.
on that.
We don't even think of that as an injury anymore. It's just
I said
the norm.
notable, John. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll go Mavs here.
You're gonna go Mavs? Okay, I'll go
Yeah.
Clips.
All right.
I can't just follow you because I got to catch up.
No, I know.
So.
I like that.
That's one I would split on anyway. So yeah. All right, Spurs Blazers. What you got?
This one's your pick.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go Blazers.
This one is tough, I gotta say. I don't know why. It just feels like this one could be a tough matchup.
You kind of wonder how long a Dameless Blazers can hold up.
And in this kind of squad, particular with the Spurs, like the Spurs, I just feel like are. Am I wrong? They're kind of a tough team to prepare for. Like how many other teams like when you're preparing for a big game, you want like a Terminator squad that kind of mimics the other team that you're about to play. Like where do you get that
for the Spurs?
Right? Is that?
Well, yeah, and so where's Keldon Johnson at? And I don't know what the injury statuses are here. So you have Vassell in fantasy. Has he been playing consistently?
I mean, I just picked him up, but yeah, he's been super consistent.
Keldon Johnson currently has no injury tags.
Yeah, I'll give you a shot here. I'll split with you.
Okay,
it's just tight though. It's weird that was a tough one. I don't know.
Heat Raptors. Your turn.
Heat Raps. Ooh, this one feels kind of tough too, honestly. Man, the Heat have been a disappointment, huh? I'm gonna go Raps.
Ugh, dang it! I was hoping that one would get you. I was hoping I could bait you with the Heat right there.
Let me ask you this.
I honestly, my take is like the Heat might be dead. Like the Heat might be done. Everyone's like, "Are you kidding me?" Like that's a deep Eastern Conference team. I'm like, well, I don't even know. Like, I don't know. Given it's a veteran laden team that doesn't care about the early season, but in all honesty, like they're just like, what do you got? Like you got Jimmy Butler, but like you can't. Like Kyle Lowry can't attack. Like I used to have Bam, but like Tyler Herro, like you're getting so much out of Tyler Herro. Like it just, I don't know.
I have a question for you. So we both picked the Raps there, but if you picked better, who finishes the season better? Higher record, better record.
Like that's what I'm saying is I think the Heat might be.
Do you think the Raptors do though? I mean, that feels like a tough.
Yeah, I do. I do think the Raptors actually finished the season with a higher record than the Heat.
Like that. Let's go, baby. Let's go. All
right,
Drake's gonna be so pumped.
Bulls, Pelicans. I love this one because they're both kind of like mid playoff teams, kind of like that in that like bottom half of the playoffs in their respective conferences. So I love these cross conference matchups. What do you got here? DeMar and Vooch and well, I guess Lonzo's not playing, but versus CJ McCollum. Zion's been playing. Zion's been healthy.
Bro, I'm gonna go with just
Brandon Ingram's healthy again.
Yeah, I'm gonna go just. They're both middle of their conference, sure, but I'm gonna go.
Wait, it's my turn to pick first. Sorry.
Is it?
Yeah, because you picked the Raptors. Remember, I was trying to bait you with the Raptors.
Yeah, that's right. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I got the Pels.
I was going Pels too. When they're both middle of their division and nothing else.
I'm always
better
leaning
division.
West.
Yeah,
I hear you. I'm always leaning West. Cavs Bucks.
This is an interesting.
I love this matchup.
The
Cavs have taken down the Celtics. They only have 3 losses, I think.
It's me first on this one.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah. So the Cavs are 8-4. Bucks are 10-2.
So this is later in the week. Is Giannis is less questionable? Let's say then.
Right. Yeah. Let's call him less questionable.
I can't pick the Bucks to lose too many games in 1 week when they have 2 losses on the season. So let's go Bucks here.
Gosh,
and maybe I have the Cavs Warriors game just still like fresh in my mouth, but just watching them fold in the final
and Clippers,
final stretch of that game, just do that. I think they're a great team, and I think they get even better as we approach the playoffs. Probably, I'm rising on the Cavs, but
if anyone has a defensive answer for Giannis, it's the team with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. So, but I don't. I mean, We've thought that before. Nobody has a defensive answer for Giannis.
Yeah.
Okay. Nets Blazers. The Nets were on the come up this last week.
You were first. So how much are they on the come up?
Nets.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Are you okay? I'll go Blazers. I thought that was a complete joke on your part, honestly, but okay.
No, I think the KD only Nets are dangerous.
Gotcha.
Especially against the Dameless Blazers. I mean, they've been winning without Dame, but still.
How much longer are we without Dame? A couple of weeks is all right. Not much.
Yeah. Like this might be the last Dameless week. Actually, you know what? He did play against the Heat. He doesn't have an injury tag right now.
Oh, he's back?
Yeah, he's back.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well,
but has he been on limited minutes? He's played one game, or he played against. He's been going back and forth. So he played 35 minutes against the Heat. He played 36 minutes against Chicago. He's kind of been a little disappointing though.
Oh, we might. I think I bet against them once earlier, but
scoring 19 points, 26 points, and 14 points in the 3 games he's been back. So, either the Nets keep rolling or Dame gets rolling. All right, Bucks Sixers.
And this one's me. Yeah. Okay. Bucks Sixers. Oh man, you put a lot of Bucks in here, man.
I think it's the Bucks have like some tough games.
Might as well just call this.
They have the Cavs. They got the Cavs, Sixers, and Hawks all in the same weeks, and the Sixers is on the back of those 2 other games. And this is on the back of a back-to-back, right? No, it's not.
Oh man, I wish if this one were earlier in the week, I would feel way more confident. But with it being a few days out still, I'm just wondering. I gotta go Bucks just because Embiid is so suspect right now. Just being like hurt all the time,
right?
And just even when he's
I think Harden is still out, right?
Yeah, so. It's so they're still a good squad.
So Harden Embiid is a duo that I think could be the top duo in the league if they are healthy.
Which is interesting. We didn't really have another Embiid style player in that lineup.
We did not.
Which is,
I mean, Jokic and Murray would be another one, but they're not great right now. But
yeah.
All right, Suns Jazz, mine to pick, huh?
Yes, sir.
As much as it hurts me.
Didn't we? Was this a repeat from last week too? I think.
No. I got House Suns. What do you got?
Oh man, you hit me with the Game of Zones reference right there.
The Sons of Phoenicia.
This one is tough. You know, I think I'm struggling with it more, and it's your team that you bet against already.
I know, dude. I think I'm just like so scared. Like I think I did this so that I'm like either way I win. You know,
this is another one of those. I'll let you. I'm gonna go Suns, but same question that I said on the other one before. Not just this game, rest of season. Who finishes the season with a better record?
Suns.
You think so? I'm not sure.
I'm still cautiously optimistic on the Jazz.
I'm not so sure.
I'm not like fully optimistic on them yet.
I think I'm 50-50 on that too. But right now, I'm higher on the Suns, I guess. So even though makes no sense. But
last one I got here. Nuggets Mavs again.
This one is a repeat. This one we did last week, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, Nuggets Mavs right next to each other in the Western Conference right now.
Yeah, and I'm going Mavs. I think it was my turn to go first. So
yeah.
I don't know what it is, but when I don't know, certain matchups come up, I want to go a certain way, and that's how I feel about this one. To be honest.
I am, due to the Jason Kidd concern over Luka fatigue and the fact that the Nuggets just like got nothing else, or that the Mavs have nothing else. And the Mavs have some matchups this week. I'm gonna go Nuggets.
Wouldn't this be a game? I mean, maybe you probably know a little bit more about load management in the NBA than I would.
Luka doesn't load manage.
I mean, isn't that what you're talking about? The like fatigue concerns? Like, isn't the answer that
he has? Yeah. So I think Jason Kidd said if he continues like this, he's going to be burned out by Christmas. But he doesn't have a choice but to play. You know, so and he's not even going to get a minutes restriction. So, you know, with them sitting at 6 in the West, it's not like they can really afford to sit him. Right. So yeah, like to me, like that's interesting that we're considering fatigue from him because he's scoring just a little bit more than Steph right now, and we're just thinking it's business as usual with Steph. And remember that James Harden had 2 back-to-back seasons where he scored 36 a night and 34 a night, which is higher than Luka's scoring per night right now. So
yeah, Luka's incredible, right?
Luka's great, but like if that's the case, then it's like you got to learn to deal with it. I think he's big, he's a big dude, right? It's hard, it's tough. I get it.
I guess where I'm coming from is, yeah, Luka is probably leading the MVP race. We're somewhere in there. He's one of the top candidates, at least
consensus leader, I think.
And if there is concern around his workload right now, I mean, maybe even in those like situations, you're a little bit quicker to pull him in a game that you feel like you're kind of pulling away, a game that you feel like you've lost, maybe you're just a little bit more cautious with him. But in a game like with the Nuggets, I mean, back to back in the standings in the same conference, that's a game you don't want to lose. I feel like if there's a game to show up and play him hard and your team's going to show up, it's got to be that game. And that's why I picked him.
Well, the problem is they have the Clippers earlier in the week, right? So they'll get a little break with the Rockets though, between the Clips and Mavs. So
yeah.
But then
maybe I'm not I don't know what it is. I'm not believing in the LA teams just in general. I feel like the Clippers are just waiting to fall
that's
off.
Another one that's similar situation, really close in the standings, kind of a like.
I know, I get you. That's my own perception getting in the way. I mean, in my pick where I'm like, if that was them and the Clippers, like I don't know at all. Like Clippers are.
Well, that's another one we picked, and we both picked the Clips. So, yeah, they will get the Rockets break, but the Nuggets are actually, we didn't pick this game, but the Nuggets are actually going to play the Mavericks. Mavericks is going to happen on Friday. And then it's going to happen again on Sunday. So
wait, we didn't pick the Clips in anything, did we? No. We didn't pick the Clips today.
Sorry, I picked the Clips. You picked the Mavs in that matchup.
See, I already know it. I didn't even remember that, but I'm glad that Mavs. Let's go Mavs, I guess, this week.
Well, picks wraps it up for us. Thanks for watching Triple Cross. Casey, say all the things for the YouTube, for the peoples on the YouTubes, so that we can get more views and make the monies.
Triple Cross, thank you for tuning in this week to our program, our World Wide Web broadcast into the universe about basketball. If you enjoyed this, please hit like, subscribe to our channel so that you can see what other goodies we have out there, and YouTube will appreciate that little bit of info on you and show our channel to people like you. And hit the bell icon to get notifications for when we drop new videos onto our channel, because we know you won't want to miss any of those. John, I'm at a loss here. I don't know. Like we have this like sexy new intro that I made. Is it also an outro? Do we pop that again? Do we just go?
I mean, let's do it now. You brought it up. Let's just do it.
Triple
All right,
Cross.
watch the highlight thing again.
See you on the flippity flip.
Lillard with 47 tonight, working it down to 2-1, a deep three. What? Blazers win the series, a walk-off three from Damian Lillard.
Samuel, wide receiver screen, good play, big play, and in for the touchdown.
And Turner looks for the deep left field. Ranging back is Profar, and it's a 1-0 start for the Dodgers.
Second batter of the game, and the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead.